Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Grab a drink, pull up a chair, and seriously, don't judge me until I finish this whole story. I need to spill this because it has been 2.5 years and the guilt is still sitting in the pit of my stomach like a rock. I feel like absolute trash about it, but at the same time, I don't know if I had a choice. You know me, I try to be the good guy, the responsible older brother, the provider. But this situation, it broke me. Okay, so let's rewind. You know my little brother, right? He was 21 at the time. A good kid, heart in the right place, but kind of drifting. Well, the drama started way back with our dad. You know how dad is old school, runs that drywall business with an iron fist. He had made all these grand promises to my brother, telling him, "Come work for me, son, I'll set you up, you'll run the crew, blah, blah, blah," typical dad stuff. He promised the moon and delivered a handful of dirt. My brother was busting his back and dad wasn't keeping his word on the pay or the hours. It was getting toxic. They were screaming at each other daily. So being the big brother, I stepped in. I have a savior complex, I know. I told him, "Look, get out of there, it's poison, come live with me." I talked to my wife, who's a saint by the way, and we agreed he could crash with us. The deal was simple: live here, find a new job, save up your cash, and eventually get your own apartment. Just a stepping stone to get him on his feet. He moves in and honestly, the beginning was great. It felt like the right thing to do. He didn't drag his feet either. The kid was hungry. Almost immediately, he lands a job at the casino as a janitor. And I know janitor doesn't sound glamorous, but casinos pay decent money and he was proud of it. He was bringing in steady checks. He was even chipping in for groceries, buying snacks for my daughter, helping around the house. I was thinking, see, this works, we're a family unit, we're helping him launch. But then, the economy happened. You remember when rideshare apps lost their minds? My brother doesn't drive. A ride that used to be $30 was suddenly shooting up to $100. One way, he was literally working an entire shift just to pay for the car ride to get to the shift. It was bleeding him dry. Eventually, he couldn't do it. He lost the job. And that is when the darkness set in. He shut down. The depression hit him like a freight train. It is really hard to be empathetic when you come home after a 10-hour grind to see your grown brother sitting in the exact same spot, controller in hand, eyes glazed over. He wasn't looking for work. He was fighting off his demons with Call of Duty, and meanwhile my bank account was fighting for its life. But I still had hope. I thought we could get through this together as a family. You have to understand the pressure cooker I was in. My wife works, I work, we have our little girl. And suddenly we are supporting another full-grown adult man who isn't contributing a dime because he lost his job and spiraled into depression. The grocery bill was sky high. The utilities were up. Every time I looked at the bank statement, I wanted to vomit. My wife didn't say much, but the tension was radiating off her. The house felt smaller. I was getting irritated just hearing him breathe in the other room, which makes me sound like a monster, but I was drowning. Then we got a glimmer of hope. He found a trade school in Maryland for heavy equipment operation, real money. He was excited. He told me, "I'm gonna go there, do the program, and I'll find a job there." I was like, "Yes, go." So he heads to Maryland, and let me tell you, the silence in the house was beautiful, but the real shocker, the finances. He was gone for about a month, and I had a massive epiphany. I realized we had money left over. The financial bleeding had stopped instantly the moment he left. It hit me like a slap in the face. My brother wasn't just a roommate. He was the anchor dragging my family underwater. His absence proved that we were fine on our own, but with him we were sinking. Then the phone rang. It had been a month. He calls me up and says, "Hey, so plans changed. I'm not staying in Maryland. I'm coming back to live with you guys while I figure things out." My heart dropped into my shoes. I looked at my healthy bank balance and knew if he came back we'd be ruined again. But he was already on the way. He was flying back. This is the part that haunts me. This is the part where I decided to be the villain. I knew I had to make a choice. I could either let him come back and risk everything, or I could stand up for my family and tell him no. But what would happen if I told him no? Would he be okay? Would he find a way to get back on his feet? My brother was flying back to move in with me again after quitting trade school, and I knew I couldn't let it happen. I drove to the airport to pick him up, my stomach in knots. I was rehearsing what I had to say, feeling like Judas. I picked him up at the terminal. He threw his bag in the trunk, hopped in the front seat, trying to make small talk. I was sweating bullets. I knew I couldn't tell him at the house in front of my wife and daughter. I needed neutral ground. So I pulled off the highway at a bleak concrete rest stop. I lied, said I needed the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, and told myself, "You have to put your daughter first." I walked out. He was waiting. I pointed to a bench and said, "Sit down for a second." He looked confused, but sat, and I just broke it down. I didn't sugarcoat it. I said, "Listen to me. I love you. You're my brother, but you cannot live with us anymore." He just stared at me. I continued, "While you were gone this past month, I realized something. We were drowning when you were here. We couldn't afford it. It was hurting my marriage. The math doesn't work." I told him I felt like garbage doing this right when he got off the plane, but I couldn't bet my family's security on him figuring things out indefinitely. The look on his face, it was pure shock, then it turned into anger. He didn't say a word. He just stood up and walked back to the car. I knew I had to be firm. I had to make him understand. But as I watched him walk away, I couldn't help but wonder if I was making a mistake. Was I really doing what was best for my family, or was I just being selfish? After I told my brother he couldn't live with us anymore at a rest stop, he walked back to the car in silence. I gave him an ultimatum. "You have 1 month to find a place and leave. That is the hard limit." The drive home was the longest, quietest drive of my life. You could cut the tension with a knife. He was fuming, staring out the window. The second we pulled into the driveway, he stormed out and immediately called our dad. He started screaming into the phone about how I betrayed him, how I ambushed him at a rest stop, and how I was kicking him onto the streets. 10 minutes later, my phone rings. It's Dad. I laid it out for him, the finances, the depression, gaming sessions, the relief we felt when he was in Maryland. I told him, Dad, I have a wife and a kid. I can't set myself on fire to keep him warm anymore. And you know what? Dad paused. He said, okay, I understand. Even he knew it was too much. The aftermath, my brother didn't take the 30 days. His pride was too wounded. He packed his stuff and was gone in 3 days. It's been over 2 years now. We talk a little, but it's not the same. Every time I think about that rest stop, me crushing him with an eviction notice, I feel sick. But then I look at my daughter and our savings, and I know I protected my family. Was I the asshole? It feels like a betrayal of blood, but my bank account says it was survival. I still wonder what would have happened if I had handled it differently. Would he be in a better place? Would we be in a better place? The what ifs still haunt me, but I know I made the decision I thought was best for my family at the time. I just hope that one day my brother will understand and forgive me. And as I look back on it all, I realize that I learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that are best for everyone involved, even if they don't feel like it at the time.